Today I want to talk about who I think the best offensive linemen are available in this NFL draft, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about who I believe the best starting 5 offensive linemen are available in this NFL draft, right? So let's get to it. Left tackle, I got Sam Cosmi. At right guard, I got Wyatt Davis. At left guard, I got Rashawn Slater. At right tackle, I got Penei Sewell. And then at center, I got Landon Dickerson. You could choose to fight me on any one of these if that's what you so chose, but I really believe that this starting 5 is unassailable. Even with Penei Sewell having opted out, we know what that dude is. He's still growing. That's the thing about him. He looks skinny at 315 pounds, and he's been that large since he was about 15 years old. This man is a monster. On the other side, Sam Cosmi, probably the most athletic tackle prospect that we've seen since perhaps Titus Howard or even Lane Johnson. He's got outstanding feet, and he was so good that they were running throwbacks to him at Texas from the offensive line position. It's a gorgeous play against West Virginia that he scored on. I think that the tackles, you're going to have a hard time getting around them. And then the middle, Wyatt Davis, yeah, that dude was awesome. Also, any child of Dwayne Davis, a.k.a. Alvin Mack, a.k.a. Featherstone, is going to get a seal of approval from me. And then you play your butt off at Ohio State. You play in a national championship game. After a year where you opted out because you didn't think there was going to be a season, and then you opted back in when there was a season, we know you want to play football. Rashawn Slater is controversial to some. I know that Daniel Jeremiah and I believe Joel Klatt have him listed as a tackle on their draft boards. I have him listed as a guard because I don't think that he's tall enough to play the position, and he has a little bit of a hard time anchoring. Also an opt-out, but coming out of Northwestern, somebody's going to take him and probably take him pretty high. And then at center, Landon Dickerson. Now, for those folks that believe that Creed Humphrey should be in this position where Landon Dickerson is, allow me to give you this. Landon Dickerson is a grad transfer from Florida State to Alabama. That in and of itself says a lot to me because Nick Saban does not make a habit of going into the transfer portal to fill out his roster because he usually does a damn good job recruiting to it and retaining it. Talking about the 5th dude to enter the transfer portal out of Alabama since the 2020 season wrapped. That's a very low percentage. And then he won the starting job. And then he won the Remington Award. And then he was a unanimous All-American. And blows out, his knee, ankle. Forget what the lower leg injury was for him because we went back and forth on it. But he needed to be carted off during the SEC championship game, right? And still begged Nick Saban to go in for the very last play of the game in the national championship game so he could say that he played, which I thought was fantastic. The other part about this is he went against outstanding defenses and outstanding defensive linemen in that conference week in, week out. I mean, Georgia, come on, man. You can say what you want about Florida, but Georgia was awesome last year. And he kept eating people up and rolling them up. The other thing about this is that Creed Humphrey didn't have the year that I thought he was going to have in 2019 or 2020. Matter of fact, the year that Landon Dickerson had in 2020 was the year I expected Creed Humphrey to have in 2019 because we are only a year removed from Lincoln Riley standing in front of us with Kyler Murray as his quarterback and saying the most athletic player on our team, the most talented player on our team is Creed Humphrey. And that's just how that man had been viewed. He was captain at Oklahoma. But against Bravion Roy at Baylor and Tyler Shelvin at LSU, we saw what his shortcomings are. If you put an oversized nose in front of him pushing 350, he's going to have a hard time blocking that player one-on-one. And he's still got to figure out just what it's going to take for him to do that. I think that he's going to get drafted highly, probably 2nd or 3rd round. But I do believe that there's still some things that you can improve on with Creed Humphrey that, frankly, if Landon Dickerson is fine coming off injury, you just won't have to worry about with him. And that center position is so important. I mean, take a look at what Jason Kelce has meant to the Philadelphia Eagles, especially in that run to winning a Super Bowl. And you look around at some of these guys, like Jeff Saturday, longtime center for Peyton Manning. Many of these guys are not just linchpins and intellectual savants on your offensive line. They are the leaders on your offensive line. They're responsible for calling out the mic, making audibles at the line of scrimmage. There's a lot that they have to take care of. And I think if you could do that at Alabama and still probably be a better player than the guy actually calling the signals and the quarterback, you're pretty doggone good, right? There are some other things that I'm sure you could pick on, like, for instance, RJ. How come you don't have Alex Leatherwood there? He's great. I just didn't think that he was as great as Sam Cosmi or Penei Sewell. That said, he did win the Outland Trophy. So if you wanted to put him on your starting five, I would not fight you. As I said, I believe there are 3 offensive linemen at Alabama last year that were better than Mac Jones was a player. I mean, including Evan Neal, who probably is the dude we're talking about the way that we had been talking about Penei Sewell going into the 2022 draft. Just an outstanding player. And I need you to be able to take on these head-up nose tackles in the NFL because you're going to see 3-4 fronts and you're going to see guys like, goodness me. I mean, we go down a list, quite honestly, of dudes that you're just going to have your hands full with. Like, imagine Creed Humphrey blocking Aaron Donald one-on-one. How is that going to end for Creed Humphrey? Yeah, I mean, and they don't run a 3-4. Like, they ran 4-man front, and they just said, we're going to move Aaron Donald all around so everybody can get a piece. I don't feel as terrible about Landon Dickerson up against Aaron Donald as I do Creed Humphrey, but Aaron Donald's probably going to destroy whomever it is you decide to put in front of him, right? On the outside, I think one of the things we want to see about Penei Sewell is what kind of shape he's in, but as long as he's not blown up to like 400 pounds, I think everything is going to be fine. I'm interested to see how Rashawn Slater tests. I'm interested to see how he moves and what this NFL combine actually looks like. We're going to learn a lot there, but I still like him, right? I like him as a guard. I don't know that I like him as a top 10 pick because you're asking that guy to be Quentin Nelson, but stranger things have happened. All right. We covered quarterbacks. We're going to cover skill players. We're going to cover wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, so forth, so on. All right. That's it for me. Deuces.